Hello, and welcome to POMA Does, a podcast produced by the Pennsylvania Osteopathic Medical Association. We provide a voice for osteopathic medicine and share insights on issues important to osteopathic physicians, residents, and students, as well as those who embrace the osteopathic philosophy. POMA's mission is to promote the distinctive philosophy and practice of osteopathic medicine for our patients, our members, and the communities we serve. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, welcome everyone. Today's podcast is all about getting to know Andy Sandusky as he moves into his new role as CEO. My name is Joan Brzezowski, and I'm a past president of POMA, and I was part of the team of physicians that interviewed Andy for this new CEO position. And ultimately, we chose Mr. Sandusky as a candidate that had the most experience and wisdom to assume the trusted role of CEO of POMA. He rose above all the other candidates that applied. He's the one that made the final cut. He's our choice. So, to begin with, we're going to start with a very complicated question. Andy, here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. This fall is going to be a pivotal year in our nation. Very contentious. I think knowing your opinion about an important matter will help me start your interview. You sure you're ready?
I'm a little nervous, but I'm ready.
Which Pennsylvania football team do you feel is going to make it to the Super Bowl, and why?
Oh, wow. That's really good. Well, first, I will say thank you so much, Dr. Brzezowski. That was a great introduction. I'm very proud to be speaking with you today and on this matter and all matters of osteopathic medicine here in Pennsylvania. But I would say I'm going to speak with my heart, and then I'm going to speak with my head. My heart says the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to make it all the way. But my head says that the Eagles have a much better chance. So I'm going to straddle the lines of the great state, trying not to alienate any of our Eagles fans. But here I am, and I would say I would love to see the Steelers, but I think they've got a couple of years quarterback away, and we're not sure when that's going to happen.
Well, I like your answer. I just took off my Eagles jacket before we started this interview, so trying not to sway you in one direction or another. All right, now we'll get to some of the meat and potatoes, though. So, since assuming your new role, what has been the most valuable find you uncovered within the POMA organization / family of POMA?
Well, I would say it wouldn't be a find because I kind of knew it coming in, but you don't the best view, I should say, or the best understanding until you're actually confronted with things. And so I would say two things. First is the staff that is amassed for POMA is absolutely incredible. I've had the great opportunity of meeting with each and every individual member of my staff colleagues, and they have just wowed me then, and they continue to wow me today. And I'm just excited to be with them every single day, working hard for osteopathic physicians here in Pennsylvania. I would say the second is the genuine, heartfelt love that our volunteers, our board, our past presidents have for the organization. Yes, you're going to have disagreements and you're going to have, different points of view, but there is no one that you could talk to that doesn't have the fire in their belly, so to speak, and the love in their heart for POMA. And that's just that's so invigorating to know that you're working hard, your staff and you are working hard, and you're doing it for a great reason, because there's a lot of wonderful people who are osteopathic physicians. And I think the best of them are the volunteers that we have, both our board and our past presidents.
No, I would agree with you. The passion in POMA, the P in POMA stands for passion, stands for the love of our organization and our people. So a lot of P's, and Pennsylvania. I never thought. I think all three of those. Very good. So can you elaborate on your top 2 or 3 goals you want to implement at POMA?
Yeah, I think first and foremost is our membership. We have to reinvigorate our membership. We have to re-engineer some things. A lot of R's in front of things. Don't want to change things that are bad, but want to do some more things that are good and that folks find value in. So the number one is membership. What can we do to attract more members? No one's found the magic sauce yet. That was a saying that was going on a lot when I was at the AOA. But I think if anyone's going to figure it out, it's going to be this team of staff folks that you have with POMA. And I think it's the members that we have, our volunteers and our leadership. So membership is definitely number one. And I think I want to do a much better job of communicating, not just within our circles, but outside those circles as well. And I want folks to understand and know who osteopathic physicians are. And I want them to realize all the great things, not even just internally, but externally as well, the wonderful things that osteopathic medicine is doing for the Commonwealth. And I think there's an incredible story to tell that is only being told in small bits right now. And I know that we can and we will do things that an approach where everybody's trying to row in the same direction moving forward. I think that we will get there.
Yeah, I think you're right. There is an incredible story that we tell pages of, but we've never completed the whole book. And if once the state knows more and more, they're only going to love us more and more. So
that's been my experience on the lobbying side of things. Once they get to know you and understand what you're about, they don't forget.
Well, you've been described as energetic, but in a positive way. What gives you your spark?
Yeah, I have found that, the old adage, love what you do and you never work a day in your life. Honestly believe that. And I have always been drawn to healthcare issues. I've cut my teeth, so to speak, working for physician organizations, and I've worked for them for almost 30 years now. And, my calling, my passion is being put to positive use with POMA like it's never have. And now I have this much, much bigger role to play in what I think is the premier medical profession in the country, osteopathic medicine. And I am excited to tell that story. So I get my energy not from being fake, but from being genuine and realizing so much potential and wanting to get at it every single day just to make sure that I'm giving 100%, that our team is giving 100%, and that we're doing the best so that when we look our members in the eye, we can say, we're working hard for you and we're going to continue to work hard for you every day in, day out. And that energy doesn't wane at all. Certainly not with me. I can again say certainly not with the team we have amassed of my staff colleagues.
Thank you. Andy, you've had a lot of experience and knowledge in the state political arena regarding health policy. You have helped lead our government affairs committee and my committee, public policy. Tell us how you plan to keep that momentum going as you grow into your new role of CEO.
Sure. So, we started this conversation on football parlance, right? So we'll take that analogy and we'll take it one step further. Kind of see myself as an offensive coordinator before I took the CEO role. We've done a lot of positive things in the influence area and the advocacy area. And then we've done some really good things on the governance side of things, as you said. Those things were deliberate. We worked hard at making sure that folks were arguing the issues, not each other. That you had these broad section of physicians all over the state with all different specialties being able to come and talk about issues and not disagreeing with each other, but disagreeing about the issues and saying, wow, I didn't see it that way before. I still don't agree with you, but I understand where you're coming from now. And so we've had all of those machinations that have grown and have, like you said, delivered some really good positions and influence throughout the state. My goal is to duplicate a lot of that, meaning entrench and empower the committee system so that the issues are really coming from the ground up. I think that's the best way that you could make policy, whether it's public policy or whether it's policy that deals with the organization, getting the buy-in, the understanding from the committee level and working that up to the top is usually your best way of making sure that everything gets vetted in a way that you didn't think of. Because I don't care how smart you think you are, you don't have all the best answers. And the only way to find that is to get information from others who have different points of view and to develop ideas and to take the time necessary to make sure that the decisions that are being made, that are even taken to the board to begin with, are ones that have been thoroughly thought of and produced, and getting the right information out and having our positions be as strong as they can be.
And as you move into this new role, are you still going to be the leader of that, or are you thinking of grooming someone? How will that work in your mind?
Yeah, so fortunately, I believe we are going to have a job description up by the end of this week. Hope to bring someone who is talented and wanting and has that same kind of fire in his or her belly and that sparkle and ready to fire at all cylinders to make sure that osteopathic medicine is well represented downtown and on the Hill. So we will be replacing my old position. I really do want someone who can come in and take the reins and have their own identity and their own ownership and let them do things that I never even thought were possible. That's my goal. That's what I want to see. And that's what my vision is for that particular role. I will be honest with you. I'm drinking from the fire hose in a lot of days, really working hard to, make sure that I'm up to par and I'm where that you need me to be as your CEO. That doesn't leave a whole lot of extra time to work on things at the minutia level. So we will bring someone in. My hope is that someone seasoned that, like I said, can come in, hit the ground running, and really pick up where I left off. And my hope is they take it much further than you and I thought possible, just when I started, 5 years ago. So
thank you for that.
You bet.
How do you envision POMA expanding our national footprint with the AOA?
So I think there has been some tumultuous, back years, so to speak. And the past several years, we've dealt with the allopathic and the osteopathic physicians and how they're trained and how they're educated and how they ultimately get licensed. And so that has been a challenge. I think there has been a lot of consternation with it. What I can say is I don't bring that to the table, so to speak. I respect the conversation. I respect the communication around it. I certainly understand it, but it is what it is at this point. And so my goal is to work with Kathleen and all the staff at the AOA in ways, that we're open for business, so to speak. My arms are open. My hands are open. I'm willing to come at this and work with them. I know they want to work with us. One of the strongest chapters, if not the strongest chapter of the AOA. So I think we have that prominence to begin with, but I think that we can step it up even further and really shine in ways that we haven't before. And like I said, we've got a new CEO with AOA, relatively new in the last, year and a half. Kathleen Creason, like I said, I've spoken to her many times. I actually worked with her before she was CEO and I was a staff member for POMA. So we have somewhat of a credibility factor together. And I think that we're both well poised to do the best for the combined membership of AOA and Pennsylvania as well.
Well, POMA's been blessed to have a lot of physicians that are involved with the AOA on higher levels. So I'm sure as you look through the net of physicians, you can count on any of us to help out. You're right. Ms. Greason is an awesome person. I think she's a good person to lead us together. So you're right on that.
Thank you.
Earlier on, you talked a little bit about membership. And I think membership has been on a downtrend in most organizations these days. Do you have any thoughts yet that are just percolating about how we could expand it? Or is this a problem you think maybe can be fixed?
Well, if I didn't think it could be fixed, I certainly wouldn't have put myself out there to even get the job, because I think, like I said, and like I shared with you, part of my fire is osteopathic medicine and where I think it's going, where it's heading. I think we need to, first capture some of those individuals that, we do a lot for our students. We try to do a lot for our residents, but the disconnect is there. And how do we get them once they're residents into their first year of practice? The data shows, our data that we have on POMA shows that there is a disconnect. Start to lose attention for those individuals who are going through that. And it starts at the third and the fourth year of school, and then it really gets a disconnect while they're in residency. So really trying to look at that part. But I think the second part of it that we really have to look at is, if we're going to keep our districts, which I think is the right thing currently, I think we need to look at right-sizing them if needed. And then I think we need to really look at the data. Where are we strong? Where are we not strong? And why? Is it an issue with the largest health system there? Is it an issue where there's just no leadership in that area? Is it just that there's a lot of younger members who don't understand yet what we can bring to the table for them? We are breaking down all of those pieces now. As I speak, I'm working with a great membership team that we have, headed by Jason Leeper of our staff. And we are drilling down to really get to the nuts and bolts of where are we strong, where are we not strong, and why? And how do we tailor our messaging, and how do we tailor our products and services that we provide to those areas where we're not strong? And so once you see the data and you look at it, you go, wow. It's eye-opening to see where some of your gaps are, and it's interesting to see why are we really strong in this pocket of the county or this pocket of the district POMA district and not in others. And there's all different reasons and variables that come into play. But our goal is to define some of those variables, get into the minutia of detail, and try to have a systematic way of communicating with our members to let them know we're here, we're doing great work, and we can do great work for you as well.
Yeah, as physicians, we practice evidence-based medicine. And it sounds like, as the CEO, you're practicing evidence-based administration right now. So I can understand that line of thinking. Should get you to the right spot.
Thank you.
How would you define success in your new role 10 years from now?
Would like to at least quadruple the amount of members that we have right now. I mean, I think that is a high goal to attain, but it's one that we're going to work really hard to achieve. And so I want to do as much as I can to bring in more members. More members means more opportunity to invest and do things for them and to expand our services and what we can provide to those individuals. And the more we look at the data, the more we find out what we can provide to different segments of the membership groupings, whether it's a specialty side of things or whether it's other ways of looking at things, whether it's age, whether it is male or female, all of that data, looking at those pieces and really trying to get at how can we be better? How can we bring in and look at the data that we're staring down the barrel of, which is a lot of our physicians are becoming subspecialists or, outside of the primary care world. All of those things, developing it, making Pennsylvania be even a larger shining light, a beacon, if you will, so that we are paving the way for osteopathic medicine. And I think we have an incredible story already with 2 medical schools, Assoc College of Osteopathic Medicine. We have one more in Duquesne, and there's a real possibility that we'll have one in Indiana State University. I think that if we're looking at things at the end of that 10 years, if we can increase our membership and increase the viability of osteopathic physicians in Pennsylvania and the nation, wow, I think we will have accomplished a lot. And all that hard work, toil, blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak, will be all worth it. But we're going to work hard trying whether or not we reach the lofty goals that we have set for ourselves and the organization.
Well, I hope I have an opportunity 10 years from now to interview you again, and you could expound on all of that with all the facts and figures. In years gone by, Barbara Walters used to interview people, and she'd ask a question, and she'd ask something like, if you were an animal, what kind of animal would you be? I am not going to ask that question. I'm going to ask a more appropriate one. So right now, we just completed the Olympics. So if you were an athlete, what sport would you compete in?
Yeah, I'd probably say wrestling. I think wrestling is a great team sport, but it's also an individual sport. So you get to have best of both worlds. And it's you and one other person out there. And, who's better, who's stronger, who worked harder. The competition is just one-on-one, person to person. And I think wrestling would probably be where I would go. Not to say that I was ever good enough to even come close to that, but I do know the hard work that gets put into that discipline, and it is not easy. So anyone that comes out on top in that particular sport is really high on my list to admire.
Maybe someday we'll get you the gold medal.
For CEOs, right?
Yes. Can you describe your style of leadership?
I have a blend of different styles, and you find that as you mature and, really become a better manager. So I am one who is very hands-off, meaning you are professionals. I respect you as a professional. Let's treat each other that way, and let's work on the issues. What's going on, and what are you working on that you have your goals for, and how are we achieving those? So I'm really into what is it that you're working on that you need to achieve that will move the organization forward. So very focused on results, but results that are strategic, not pedantic. I want to make sure that, what we're all trying to do, for example, the staff, is congruent with the strategic plan and making sure that we are doing what we say we need to do from a strategic nature.
Andy, if you don't mind, can you share a bit about your family? Like, where's your hometown? How many children do you have? And who's the pillar that you lean on?
That's right. Yeah, without that, I wouldn't be here for sure. So I am a son of a police officer and a nurse's aide in Keysport, Pennsylvania. It's a pretty rough area. It wasn't that rough when I grew up, but it's pretty rough now. But I moved in Harrisburg area in 2000, met my wife in 2001, Jan, and the rest is history. We have two beautiful children. One is 14 going on 21, and her name is Emma, and the other is Summer, and she's 11. They could not be more different. They don't look alike. They don't act alike, but they do love each other. Emma, the oldest, is a field hockey player, and the youngest is a horse rider. So they couldn't get further apart, but they are just beautiful, incredible young ladies. And I can't wait to see what they are going to be when they grow up, so to speak. They're my rock. They're my energy. It doesn't make a difference what kind of day you had at work. You're dad to them, and you got to act like it. Whether you're feeling bad or not, you got to act like it because they're always watching you. So, yeah.
Dads are the heroes. Is there anything we didn't ask you today that you would like to say, just to get it out there and to comment on something?
Yeah, nothing specific other than, I will lean towards some of the things you said at the beginning. There was a very fair process of folks, from my perspective, working hard to do the interview. It wasn't as hard as this. No, it was very rigorous. It was the more challenging experiences that I've gone through. And in the end, I'm really pleased that I got the job and very thankful that my message, the things that I were sharing, were things that the leaders who interviewed me wanted, you being one of them. And I think I shared with folks, like, you've got talented folks that I know are interviewing for these positions. And if one, I'm scaring you or making you nervous, or, you just don't think it's right, that's okay. That's all right, because I know you've got talented folks, and I'm still going to be here because I was still employed and I was going to be employed afterwards. But I think it was a strong, fair process. I feel that I was given every opportunity to do well, and I'm just happy to be here. So thank you again. I do appreciate the opportunity. And like I said, I'm drinking from the fire hose, but learning every single day and, keeping a smile on my face and doing what I can to keep ahead.
Well, I want to thank you for spending this half hour with us. It went very quickly. I feel like, I don't know, an old Merc Griffin or somebody that used to do interviews. It was very easy chatting with you. So appreciate the time you gave us and allowing the POMA membership to get to know you on a couple of different levels. Thank you again, and thank you for accepting our offer to be the CEO. We appreciate it also.
Thank you, Dr. Gruzbowski. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of POMA Does. Be sure to subscribe to POMA Does wherever you listen to your podcasts, and tell your friends and colleagues to tune in. Learn more about osteopathic medicine and POMA on our webpage, www.poma.org, and join the conversation on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Or email us at poma@poma.org. We'd love to hear from you. Join us next time for another edition of POMA Does.